So Ali, thank you so much for joining me.
Glad to be here, Shannon.
So obviously cybersecurity and privacy are really top of mind for financial institutions because with all that data that they have on their customers now comes a really big responsibility, right, to protect that data.
Yeah.
So as you continue to evolve your services and customer experiences and expectations, what role does security play?
Security is table stakes. It's essential. And without security, without providing your customers the assurance that the information that they're giving you is safe, there's no business really, right? Because of the reputational risk that's involved. And it's part and parcel of growth strategy too, because this whole conference, right, is sort of about making services more and more frictionless. And to make services more frictionless, you're providing typically more data and having the bank do more and more for you in an automated fashion. And the more interactions that you have with the bank, the more information, as you said, they know about you. But you'd only indulge in those further interactions if you're sure that the more information you give them, say, you're moving with a bank, you're moving on to a home loan and an auto loan from just having an account with them. That extension of services requires the assurance that the information is safe. So it's essential to the future of the business.
And when it comes to providing differentiated services within the marketplace, are you seeing that as an inhibitor or an enabler? What's your opinion on that?
So like technology, security is a competitive advantage. Folks, and we see this across the board, in fact, Protiviti has a survey out on this, is that one of the top 5 risks that the banks themselves are thinking about is cyber, because they realize that even if they were to think about it as an inhibitor, it's an enabler to the client.
So what practices are you seeing organizations follow to prevent and ultimately react to these cyber threats that you're seeing?
So organizations, especially in the US is a highly regulated market as far as financial services go. US banks have been very diligent about defense in depth, about keeping good security practices across their entire stack. But what's interesting is that just as banks start to increase or further mature their security practices, the attack surface is so large now that attackers are resorting to very simple means to get to users' information too, such as social engineering attacks, where they will reach out to the clients directly. Or they will reach out to the employees of the bank and make them click a link. So very simple measures like preventing phishing attacks, educating your employees on not clicking that link. We used to have don't click that link campaigns. And
don't write your password on a Post-it note, leave it on the computer.
Exactly. The basic stuff seems just as critical now as patching your servers, just because the number of people that they can reach out to are sort of so large. And with clients, reaching out to clients and communicating to them that we will never reach out to you and get your password over the phone. Those sorts of measures are getting more and more important as banks want to make their services more frictionless. One other area that's kind of exciting is that there's a big push towards operational resilience. The Bank of England put out a paper last year in which they talked about the highly interconnected nature of the banking environment and how contagion can quickly spread. And the spread of contagion and the disruption of banking services can very quickly disrupt services to the real economy. And what the Bank of England challenged the financial services world to look at was how can they make sure that the customer base in the real economy is not affected. And banks are now going towards thinking about this, and that's the new area of operational resiliency that Protiviti is playing a key role in.
And I feel like the industry is obviously doing everything it can to try to keep up against these threats, and we've moved from a more, I would say, reactive space to hopefully a more proactive space when it comes to monitoring and cybersecurity. But what other trends are you seeing within the space that have you excited, hopeful, and maybe even a little nervous?
So the key trends that we see are first the rise of state actors. the proliferation of tools. There were state tools that are now proliferating to the private space, and a lot of the large hacks have been implemented using these shared tools. Third and fourth, mobile banking is a big target, and globally it's considered one of the key epicenters of where a lot of the threats are going to come from, because if you look at Asia and Africa, mobile banking is growing very quickly. In some of the developing world, banking services are being conducted and their transfer of money is being conducted using mobile applications more and more. And as more of the world is incorporated into digital banking, that mobile banking remains a concern. Last but not least, technology and communications have been used to uplift and create development in a lot of the world, and that requires banks to be able to serve every echelon of society. And in some echelons of society, there's a lot of education to be done around security, so they don't voluntarily give up their information. So these are some of the global trends there.
Great. Well, Ali, thank you so much for your insights. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
From Medici Studio, I'm Shannon Rossick.